Hello, my loves. Welcome to Shakti Waves YouTube channel with me, Shakti Sanja, and your long-awaited Scorpio full moon messages. Oh my goodness, did I ever go full on in my Scorpio magic that day? If you ever want to get the moon ceremony and messages from me on the day of, then please consider joining Moon Mastery, my beautiful membership for women to come together with the full moons and new moons each month. In ceremony, you get to do ceremony with me, meditation, cleansing, purifying, and you also get my daily downloads for the astrology of the day, plus lots of other magic. Check it out at the link below. Okay, so I've really been waiting to do this Scorpio full moon message because all it was telling me was that the messages of the Libra full moon are what really, really matter. And what the Libra full moon represents, because it was the biggest supermoon of our year, is really what the entire year is about, or one of the core themes, right? So currently the theme of this year is core fundamental shifts and changes to our institutions, to our foundations, to our structures. We are going through that Capricorn switch that Saturn switch, Saturn, the planet that rules Capricorn. We are going through the Saturn switch from Capricorn into Aquarius, the dawn of the Aquarius age. Jupiter is also going into Aquarius in December. This is why there's so much shift in our world economies and our health systems, and in people's awakening and understanding of what it is that they're doing here on this planet at this time. Okay, so we have this mass structural collective change of what our world or our economy, our communities, our relationships look like. And then in addition to that, with the Libra full moon, as I said below, if you want to go check out those Libra full moon messages, I have a playlist for you. It's all about love, and it's all about divine love and new codes and structures and understandings of what love is, both for ourselves, self-love, for our families, in our sibling relationships, and of course in our romantic relationships and partnerships, and with our children that we create from those romantic partnerships. Okay? So what I want to speak to is that Scorpio full moon was really bringing up and purging out, releasing. Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth, deep transformation, deep alchemy, right? It's ruled by the planet Mars and by the planet Pluto that's deep in space. So it's very active, it's very moving, and it's going to do whatever it needs to do to move out whatever is not in alignment. So you were probably feeling a depth of emotion that day. The waters went very, very deep. And up until like a week before and a couple days after that full moon on May 7th, you were probably feeling all up in your emotions. There may have been some people or experiences that came in and out of your life during that time. I know lots of people who are having breakups, who have been ghosted, who aren't having people talk to them. You know, sibling relationships changed, relationships with family members changed. Mother's Day was right after that. So there's a lot of changing up in our relationships, and what Scorpio is here to tell us, because Scorpio is a deep feeling water sign. It loves so deeply and so intensely, but it wants to get down to the bottom of things, to the truth of things. It can't be superficial. So it's having you go deep within yourself, deep excavation of what are your beliefs around love? What do you think that you need to do or be or become in order to be loved, to be worthy of love, right? All of that is being erased and washed away. It is being purged away. That Libra full moon message of love and divine love, unconditional love for self and others, is what's needed. And until we are able to operate in that way, we will continue to be tested and have to learn deep lessons, right? Our brains are literally being reprogrammed right now in how we think about love for ourselves and in relationship to other people. And the planet as well. Everything is a relationship. Astrology teaches us as above, so below, as is the cosmos, as is within us. You are a galaxy fully inside of you. Your astro chart shows you this. It shows you the solar system of you, the particular angles that make you who you are, and no one else is you. Okay? No one else was born in the exact spot that you were born, at the exact time that you were born, in the place and the mother and the father that you were born to, okay? And if you want to understand yourself more deeply, consider coming into Moon Mastery, because I give you a free 15-minute rapid astro chart reading. I give you your whole chart reading in rapid 15 minutes. It's pretty potent stuff. So that's the best place to get it, the most affordable way to get it. Otherwise, you have to work with me one-on-one for an hour to do an astro chart deep dive session and coaching session with me. So the links for all of that are below. Okay, so I want to speak to the Gemini energy and all of the retrogrades that are happening right now. So what I mean by Gemini energy is we're approaching Gemini season. We're approaching the Gemini new moon on Friday, May 22nd. And our north node, the nodes of the moon, which direct us towards our destiny collectively and individually, shifted into Gemini. It was in Cancer, and now it's in Gemini, with our south node being in Sagittarius. So what does this mean? It means illusions, duality, lies, old ideas, stale ideas, things that don't work, things that our previous learning wasn't actually supporting us and living our fullest self. All of it, bye-bye. Our collective destiny is being awakened to see the truth beyond the binds of previous structures and constraints. We're entering a time of deep relearning, of deep repatterning. We're expanding our minds beyond duality, beyond illusion, right? That's what the collective consciousness is moving through. And we get to express it. We're going to be writing more. We're going to be talking more. We're going to be learning more as a collective over the next 18, 19 months of this nodal transit. And we're also in retrograde season. Okay, so during this month, we went into Venus retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and we were already in Pluto retrograde last month. Next month, we're going into Mercury retrograde. So we have 4 planets in retrograde. The first one being in Pluto. So that means our deep structures, our deep rebirths are being transformed. We get a chance to look at our transformation again, right? So we're really getting to sit with ourselves in our own rebirth process. It's like we're watching ourselves burn up and we're witness to it. We're witnessing our thoughts and belief structures that don't serve us anymore crumbling. For those of us that have not had dark nights of the soul, or for those of us who have not had ego death happen, right? That protective layering around ourselves that we create so that we can feel safe and protected in the world. That's really an illusion, because we are always safe and protected. We are never not on path. We are never not held by our own soul and by the divine, which is one and the same thing, right? For those of us who have never witnessed ego death before, this can be excruciating. It literally feels like you're dying. It feels like the rug is being pulled from under you. You are falling out of the tower and there is no safety net, right? And what you realize is when you lose your safety net, you actually realize how deeply held you are, okay? And we can get really into the esoterics of even in death. There is always rebirth. There is always life beyond death. We know death is not the end. It's a new beginning. That is very much Pluto energy. That is Scorpio energy. That is a lot of what the full moon amplified for us. That beautiful Scorpio new moon. It was the deepest purge of the year. And then we went into Saturn retrograde. So Saturn retrograde, it was going into Aquarius. So that means new structures are coming online for the collective. And it went back into retrograde, so we're going back into Capricorn, which means that there's going to be a semblance of some kind of new normal coming back into place. And also us seeing the structures that just don't work in our economy, in our health systems, in our households, in our own lives. They are all being highlighted for us right now to review. We are reviewing the structures that we have built around us and that need to be built around us for future generations to come, for our own lifetime, for our own life, and as well as for the collective, okay? That's what the Saturn retrograde is all about, as well as many more things, but that's kind of the core theme. And then we had Venus retrograde. So Venus in retrograde, and it's in the sign of Gemini. So this means that for the longest time, Venus only goes retrograde every 18 months or so. So it's more of a rare occasion, and it's in the sign of Gemini for about 4 months or so. So since it's going retrograde, and what this means is it's time to reevaluate our relationships to other people, especially the mirror that other people are to us, the twinning that they are, right? For a lot of twin flames, you're being very deeply activated to learn deeper lessons, to change your neural pathways around the way that you love, show love, and need love in your world. Really deeply realizing that you don't need the other person to give you love. You don't need that other person to reassure you from your pain of childhood, right? You get to love them. You get to show up with love, with unconditional love. And you also realize that there's some people that you might need to release in your life, let go of, learn the lesson, and thank them and say goodbye, okay? And there's a lot of sibling lessons also happening here if you have siblings, because Gemini is a sign of the twins and sibling relationships, as well as lots of lessons around your own writing, your own expression. So we are learning to express ourselves in a new way. We are learning new codes around relationships, new ways of thinking about love, and new ways of thinking about our sibling relationships. This is definitely going on for me massively. I'm not ready to share about that yet, but I will as soon as I feel as soon as I feel like I've excavated the jewels of that experience for you. But just do know that there's a lot of reevaluation, reintegration, restructuring happening around the way that we love and manifest, especially in the way that we think about love and the way that we speak and express our love to other people and communicate in relationships. Lots of communication being shifted. And then lastly, we have Jupiter retrograde that just started the day after Venus. So that means everything that expands is being reevaluated. So what do we want to expand? What do we want to grow? How do we want to grow? How do we want travel to look in the future? How do we want money to look in the future? How do we want love to look in the future, right? Money, love, travel, all of that expands us, all of that grows us. So we're having a real evaluation of what is wanting to grow within us and within the collective. This is a big, massive time collectively during these retrograde seasons for us to all look inward and really evaluate ourselves. It's not a time for a lot of really intense action unless you already had clarity around stuff that you were going to do. It's not really going to be a time for a lot of newness. It's a time for a lot of reevaluation and going back and getting the tools and getting the jewels out of your past experiences. And this is what Scorpio is really here to do. It's removing everything that's not in service of you so that you can learn the very most from your experience. I just saw 1111, and before that I saw 144. So please do know that you're always on path. If you're here, you are on mission, you are on destiny. Welcome, hello. I would love to serve you in that. My next brand incubator is starting next month. In time for retrograde, we're doing brand rebirths so that your brands and businesses can be your sacred, soulful expression. And I don't mean that in that like spiritual biz woo-woo kind of BS. I mean that you actually get to be fully expressed and fully authentically yourself, and that your brand, from its visuals, from its writing, from its content, is aligned to that and then magnetizes you to your soulmate clients so that you can just live happily and healthfully, because it's so fun to be yourself and to be in your mission. So please come work with me if you'd like, if you feel drawn, if that feels aligned. I'd love to connect with you. I'll leave the link below to learn more about my Shakti Brand Incubator. Join us in Moon Mastery for that Gemini new moon this Friday, May 22nd. And I am sending you all of my love. I hope this served you. Sat Nam.